Testing, testing, testing. Hey guys, you should be able to see me now and hear me, hopefully. Let me know if there's any problem with my audio. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you, Casper, mate. I'll get to your question in just a sec, mate. Just let a few people join in. Thanks, Joachim. It's good to have Joachim in. Who would have thought after his shameful stats came out last week? Who we thought he would return? But he's a good man. Faces both the good times and the bad times. All right, Casper, mate. We might as well start with your question before we get into the Trademate customer or the trading competition for all our customers. So we've got 10 or so entrants in that. And what we do is we go through basically how they're performing and then in my kind of key insights into how I think they're going and where they can improve their betting. So, and then along the way, I will be answering any questions you guys have got. So we might as well start off with Casper and his question. So his question is, how do you decide when to up my max bet and when to go back down again if necessary? Mate, it's all just based on your bankroll. So if your current bankroll's $1,000, if your current bankroll's $5,000, if you get it up to $10,000 for instance, we recommend it should always be somewhere around 1 to 2%. So yeah, I personally do 2%, but for people that don't like bigger variance or don't like to take as much risk, then it should be closer to 1%. I mean, if you want to go less than 1%, that's fine, but what we recommend is somewhere between 1 to 2%, depending on your risk preference, I would say. Yeah, so I mean, if it goes from 4K to 5K, then you just do what's 2% of 5K, or 1% of 5K. All right, and your other question was, what exactly should I look at in the EV, black line or the closing? Closing line's the best one. So look at the green line inside your thing. The blue line is the line of value that you've gotten when you've actually placed the bet, whereas the green line is the closing line value that you've achieved. So don't look at the blue line. I think it's blue, but maybe it's black. Sorry, yeah, I think it is black actually. Don't look at the black line. The most important metric in sports betting is definitely the closing line. So look at the green line and how you're comparing to that. Next question, Casper asks, can I use the big data tool to find my presets? I mean, of course you can, mate, but you need to have access to the big data tool. So you can only use the big data tool or the analytics tool when you're using Trademate Pro, or you can use it with Trademate Core if you do like an add-on to your Trademate Core subscription, which, to be honest, I don't even know what it costs. You'd have to look up pricing inside the Trademate Sports website for how much the analytics tool costs. Oh, don't quote me, it's something around €50 a month. Something around that, but I could be completely wrong. So yeah. Any other questions before we get into it? I went from 4K to 5K now in 6 days, but don't know if I up or what I do. Casper. Yeah, so you have the big data tool to use because you placed 500 trades in your first month. That's part of a promotion for every user. So if you want to use anyone out there that wants to use that big data or analytics tool, go and place as many trades. I think there's an automated message that gets sent out. Yeah, I got your message, mate. I'm just answering Casper. So no, you don't get the big data tool for free. It's only Casper only got that for free for his first month because he achieved the competition that we set out for everyone to achieve 500 trades in the first month or 100 trades in the first week. So if you do either of them and subscribe to Trademate, then you get the analytics tool for free. Manav Desai, what's your thoughts around sharp stream chasing? You lose the value, obviously, but considering you're piggybacking off sharps, probability of hitting the bet is high. This is for a sport you don't watch. Sharp steam chasing. Oh, sorry, steam chasing. Mate, I haven't. Yeah, sorry, man. I'm probably not the person to be asking this question. All my trading at the moment is just on the softs. So if I was you, mate, I would be asking someone that's, I don't know, either a pro or someone that's trading on the sharps more regularly. I don't think I'm the best person to ask. Let me just look at your question again, see if I can find any or provide any insight at all. Yeah, I mean, there is something to following sharp money, obviously, but yeah, I'm not the person to ask. Can I post pictures in this chat? It's a bit easy to show a picture and ask a question. I mean, I don't know if you can, mate. You can try, and I'll do my best. But yeah, Manav, definitely go ask. I mean, maybe I can pose that question to Haru. We've got a podcast coming up with him, another EPL betting preview next week. So maybe I can ask him that next week. Or, I mean, if I get hold of Jonas someday, maybe I can ask Jonas. Right, we should get into the results of the trading competition. Let me try and get this up. Okay. Oh, that is not what I want to show. Sorry guys, I'm trying to... I think this might be it. That is not it. Bloody hell. Anyway, I'm trying to show my face in this, guys. I've done this before, but obviously not the smartest tool in the shed right now. So let me just zoom into this for you. So if you're looking at the stats now, the top results is what is the results after 2 weeks, and then the second one was the results after last week. So the ones we should be looking at, or you should be looking at, is these results here. And then I was going to compare it to last week's results after getting basically a lot more trades in. Well, actually, this might do it. No, it will not. Okay, I think. Let me know if you guys can't hear me anymore. But I think it's all good. Yeah, I think it's all good. Sorry, guys. All right, so my ugly head is in there now. All right. Okay. So, same as last week, Monteo is up the top of the leaderboard. He is also accompanied by Neil in second position as last week, but there's been a big movement. Daniel has gone from 8th position, which he was down here, to 3rd. So his average closing edge has gone from 2.5 to 4.3%. He's done very well in that department, and the man's doing well in terms of his profits too. So an 11.7% ROI for the last 2 weeks. So this is data from from the 1st of July to the 15th of July. So I took this data on Wednesday. So we're halfway through the competition, got 15 days left. And yeah, so this is the leaderboard so far. Montello is going to be very, very hard to catch, but Neil's still nipping at his heels there. But yeah, there's your leaderboard at the moment. And then you've got Sheen, he's dropped down to 4th place. Shanksy 5th, Juhani 6th, Marker 7th, Shabalinvlad 8th, Marinko 9, and Joachim. I mean, it's just, it's disgusting. He's sitting in 10th place, having placed 34 trades. Yeah, I mean, shameful, absolutely shameful. All right, maybe go through some of my key takeaways from the month. Let me just get them up, my notes for today. First thing I wanted to talk about was everyone's average ROI. So if you have a look at the ROIs from week 1 compared to after 2 weeks, the ROIs have gotten closer to what is our average ROI of all time of around 2.5%. So what I mean by that is Monteo has gone from 8.6 to 0.3. So he's gotten closer to what is a realistic number of 2.5%. Neil has gotten closer, very close. Daniel has gotten, where's Daniel? 12.4, so he's gotten marginally closer. 1.9 for Sheen. Last week it was at 5.1. So if you go down this list, you'll see it's a really common trend, especially for the people in the top 5 with the biggest average closing edge. So what it shows is that the more trades you place, the less variance there'll be in your results. So because everyone's increased their trades this week, it shows in the ROI too. It's gotten closer to that 2.5 number. And I would say you shouldn't really judge your results, your ROIs, your profits, until you've done at least 1,000 trades. I've said this many times. Or, I mean, I would be judging more than that personally, but if the earliest point, I'd say 1,000 trades. And you can just see that the difference between 1 week and 2 weeks of trading, that these average ROIs have gotten closer, not perfect, and they probably never will be, but they've gotten a lot closer just from the amount of trades they placed to that 2.5% average ROI, which we produce with Trademate over time. So I thought that was very interesting. And yeah, like I said, the top 5 in the rankings, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they were the ones that moved the closest. So let's just take Joachim, for example. His average ROI moved further away from 2.5%, simply because he placed 3 trades. That means absolutely nothing. Marinko didn't move an inch because he didn't place enough trades. But then if you go up, 4.6% Shabalinvlad was at. He's kind of hovering either side of 2.5%. Hasn't moved much. So what I'm trying to say is these guys, the more trades you place or the bigger your average closing edge is, the more likely you are to be close to that average ROI. All right, who else? We got Casper's got a question. My ROI currently at 6.8, so close to what Jonas had. But then again, I'm 2,000. Yeah, mate. Sample size is everything. Okay. Joachim is going to bump those numbers up. Well, you need to, mate. You've got to place, I mean, just a touch over well, you've got to place 450, 70 trades in 2 weeks. So that'll be very tough and time consuming. So expect to see Joachim rocket up the leaderboard next week. Big words. But yeah, we'll move on. My other big takeaway was people saying it's too expensive, Trademate. So people think it's too expensive, which I think is just complete bullshit. Sorry for my language, but I think it is. I think especially if you approach it with the right way. So if you approach it with the correct bankroll, go too low of a bankroll, you're simply not going to cover this subscription fee over time. If you put the work in, as you can see, look at some of these numbers. Shanxi, 1,862 euros in profits. And I know he is overachieving, but even if he had an ROI that was closer to 2%, he'd still be doing bloody well. Look at his Shanxi. Look at his closing EV, 669. That's what he's expected to make after 2 weeks. So don't say that it's too expensive or it's not expensive. It's actually quite cheap. Funny enough, if you just do the work, it's quite cheap. Same with this man here, Shabalin Vlad. Exact same thing. Put in the work and you'll reap the rewards. So I guess that's, if you approach this with the right mindset, if you approach it with the right, if you read everything we have on our blog, listen to all the podcasts we do, whatever, it's all about turnover. It's all about number of trades. Don't complain about the subscription price if you're going to come in with a low bankroll, and you're not going to put the work in. Then you don't realize why it's at the price that it is. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Casper, what do you got to say now, mate? Regarding the big data tool, Mario said something about that it shows trades by all users, so it can show some inaccurate stats. Yeah, it's very reliable, but I think it's limited in some ways. So the big data tool only shows the sample size maximum of 10,000 trades, which is still a very good sample size. So if I was you, mate, if you're going to look at a preset that you want to look at and run it through the big data tool, I would be running it multiple times, running multiple simulations, see what the results are every time and see if you can gain some more assumptions from doing it multiple times. But yeah, it's obviously very reliable, mate. It's got everyone's data. Well, the one you found is that I'd run it a couple more times, mate. And a 6.4% ROI is very, very good. So with that, the problem would be, Caspar, is that it's got the sample size there. So 10K trades is great. So it shows that it actually works. The problem is that how many trades can you get in with that preset? And what happens if that preset, I don't know what the preset is you put through. Maybe you can send it through on the customer chat, but I would just make sure that you can actually get lots of trades in on that preset you've just gone through. All right, more things I have to say. Yeah, I just wanted to admire some of this, the people here that are on this. I just want to admire the work they're putting in, basically. So Montello was one of them, Shanxi, Sheen, Shabalinvalad. Just look at some of the numbers these guys are doing. So let's just check Shanxi for a start off. he's got a small starting bankroll, but what he's done is he's just gone, I'm going to place as many trades as possible, and with a starting bankroll of €1,000 or €1,200, I'll eventually be able to rack up the EV, and that's exactly what he's done. So for someone with a starting bankroll of 1,200 to be getting closing EV of 969 after 2 weeks is very, very impressive. And look at his profits. So now with that starting bankroll, what's happened, because he's got off to a good start, is probably, I would assume, his bankroll would now be at something around €3,000, and he's working with that now. So he's probably been a touch lucky, but I tell you what, the man's put in the work. Look at that. 969 closing EV is incredible for 2 weeks. And I mean, Shabal Invalad's done even better, but it just shows, guys, put in the work. 868 trades in 2 weeks. So people that are complaining to me on the customer support about not getting enough trades in, go and have a chat with Shanksy, because he's proving you all very, very wrong. Oliver, hi, I know a bit off topic, but everyone could learn from it. Does Jonas do progression staking when he's lost 250? Oh, when he lost 250k? I'm sorry, mate. I'm not too sure. I've got no idea what staking he was doing, but one thing I do know about Jonas is he would, at the moment, it's hard for him to do Kelly bet staking, because sometimes the limits, I think at the moment he basically just tries to get as much in as he can. So say Pinnacle, I've got a limit at 10,000. Most of the time he's going to be pressing those limits. So I think he just tries to get in as much as he can. And in terms of his staking, it's pretty hard for him to follow Kelly bet, because you have to be very quick, and it's hard to do the calculation sometimes, and it's hard to define your edge. That's probably the main thing. So he basically does, I guess, some sort of flat staking at the moment, but I guess he would kind of just be his own, just going for feel at the moment. But I think maybe he was using Kelly bet when he did that video series. I'm not too sure. The average trade size he had on that one. Yeah. Casper, I have got all trades in so far. My pick is on the trade feed. Yeah. I mean, if you're trading on the softs, Casper, you would have done very well to build your bankroll to 40k, unless you're talking in NOK or something like that. It's going to be very hard to do, mate, because you'll probably get limited. But anyway, hopefully you can use all the bookies we have. All right. What else have I got down here? Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see that Marinko and Joachim have got the worst 2 average closing edges, and they've by far have put the least amount of trades in. Very interesting. So it kind of proves once again that you put in the work, you reap the rewards, because 60 trades, 34 trades, your results are going to be very variant. And as you can see here, maybe, I mean, I guarantee that over time, Marinko and Joachim, especially Joachim, because I know he said he's going to put the work in now, guarantee Joachim's average closing edge will skyrocket next week, because 34 trades, he's just been probably quite unlucky and things have moved out of his favour. And it's such a small sample size that affects it hugely. So Joachim, I'm going to make a prediction now. I reckon his closing edge will soar next week to at least above 2%. So yeah, very interesting that 2 people with the least amount of trades have the worst closing edges. Casper, I plan to move over to Betfair Exchange as I can't bet on Pinnacle from Denmark. Good man. Well, you'll need Trademate Pro for that. But I mean, I wouldn't. We don't really recommend betting on Pinnacle anyway, because they're so hard to beat. So we'd more be looking at betting with Betfair, Matchbook, And then the other sharp bookies like your SBOs and stuff like that, they're a lot easier to beat than Pinnacle. Pinnacle are very sharp. You should only really be betting with Pinnacle if you really know what you're doing, if you're basically professional or very, very close to it. Joachim, at least 5%, mate. You said you were going to win, so you'd have to get to 6%, I guess, mate, if you want to win more than that. But at least 5%, that's a big call. It's a big, big call. I think my average closing edge over 5,000 trades is 2.6. So, yeah, maybe just get a few lucky results in there, mate. Yeah, like I said before, trades are so high. I think that's the most impressive thing with these people. So the minimum for this competition is 500 trades that you have to place, or you can't get the prize. And I mean, most of these guys are easily going to achieve that. Joachim and Marinko are the only ones that look unlikely. Maybe have a bit of more faith in Joachim, but it looks very unlikely. It's, but even, Neil still got 15 days, so does Juhani, and they're kind of halfway where they should be. So plenty of trades coming in through the Trademate feed. I love this. I love this comment from Casper. This is brilliant. I'm a pleb at sports betting. Don't know what I'm doing. I just follow the presets I have, and apparently it seems to work. Couldn't have said it better myself, mate. That's the best thing about this software. You literally do not have to have any knowledge about sports betting. You don't need to be smart at finding value or anything like that. You can literally just follow a software, give the algorithm all your money, or not all your money, pay the subscription fee, and follow an algorithm. Because I know personally, I'm not arrogant enough to admit it, or I am arrogant. Fuck that up. I'm not arrogant, so I realise that a mathematical approach or an algorithm is a lot smarter than me. Yeah, no, you're right, Casper. Just keep putting the work in, mate, and you will keep profiting, mate. What was my last few things I wanted to go through? I was going to say Monteo and Sheen. If you look at how they are performing in terms of their closing EV, so let's have a look at Sheen here. He's at a 616 closing EV, but profits of only 275. And then if you look at Monteo, closing EV of 1,000 over 1,142, profits of only 51 euros. These guys have got a lot to look forward to. So if Montello or Sheen, however you pronounce it, if I was you guys, keep putting the work in, and I think your profits will start to soar, because you are massively underachieving at the moment, especially Monteo, with the average closing edge that you have, mate. Yeah, just keep putting the work in, mate. Your average ROI of 0.3% right now is it's not really indicative of the work you're putting in. So you'll get there, mate. Just keep that you've basically nearly eliminated variance. I mean, you can never eliminate variance, but you've eliminated variance a lot with the amount of trades you guys have been able to put in. So keep putting the work in, and you will reap the rewards. Casper tried so many services out there regarding sports betting, but Trademate seems to be the only one that has generated profit. All right, last thing I wanted to go through was 7 out of 10 average closing edges went up. So if you compare last week's results with after 2 weeks of results, only 3 people's closing edges went down. So those closing edges that went down would be Shanksy, no, Juhani, Marker. Markers went down from 3.1 to 2.8. Chabal Invalid went down from 3.3 to 2.4, and Marinko went from 2.4 to went from 2.4 to 2.1. So, yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that 7 out of 10 went up. So once again, put the work in, and your average closing edge will rise. I don't have too much else to say today, guys. In terms of content that's coming out soon, send some questions over in the meantime before I leave. But content coming out soon is tomorrow. I'm going to release a podcast I did with an odds compiler named Jivan Jayaratanam. Was one of my favorites that I've done in terms of the podcast. Very insightful stuff, because you're getting the advice of someone who works on the other side of the fence. So not your standard betting analyst or pro sports bettor that we get on. We actually talk to someone who works for bookmakers, so as an odds compiler. So it was very, very interesting stuff, and I implore you guys to go listen to that. Other than that, I'm not sure what other videos we will have coming out. I haven't really scheduled those yet, but we'll have more and more podcasts. Another betting preview, as I said earlier, with Haru and George, hopefully for Game Week 38, the last one in the EPL. Sad, it's all coming to an end. It's off-season time. Casper, I kind of see betting on non-recommended leagues as an edge. The sports bookies are so stupid at these, and you beat them so easily. I mean, they're obviously easy to beat, but then it depends how much you care about the lifetime of your account. So, yeah, it's going to be extremely hard for you to keep the lifetime of your accounts open if you're not able to bet with them because you've been betting on lesser leagues. So, yeah. And yeah, also with betting on lower leagues is that it might affect your closing EV, because there's quite high variations in the price. So if there's only been, compared to like an EPL market, if I put $10,000 on an EPL game, the line might not move that much because there's so much liquidity in the market. But if I put $10,000 on a Australian soccer game, it's the line is going to swing very much so. So because there's less liquidity, the closing odds are there's a chance that even if you bet, say, half an hour before the game or even 15 minutes before the game, the odds could swing out of your favour because of the less liquidity in the market. And also the closing line at a Pinnacle or that we use, whatever bookmaker, is going to be less efficient in a lower liquidity market because there's less information from those odds. So probably if you looked at an EPL closing line, highly efficient, but the lower down in leagues you go, the less efficient that closing line is going to be. All right, if no one's got any more questions, I'll finish it up, guys. I'll give you 1 minute to put any more questions through, but I think that'll do me for today. And I guess or maybe Joachim will post a video next week, or maybe do a live stream with the week 3 results of the customer competition. But if any of you guys out there, you guys 10 participants that are participating, make sure you share this around to your friends. And at the moment, it looks like Monteo is going to be the one getting €60 off his subscription. We'll see. All right. I don't think there's any more questions coming through. But cheers for watching, guys. Please make sure you like the video, subscribe to our channel, and yeah, click the bell button too, so you get a notification every time we post a new video. But yeah, tune in tomorrow. Really cool podcast coming out, and I hope you guys all enjoy it. It was one of my favorites. So yeah, catch you guys next week.